Hey everybody, it's the Quantum Show. Welcome back. Thanks for coming by. And we're talking ufology in public. I know I've done this show before, but there have been more developments in the scene of it all. So I wanted to go, and I've been encountering people talking about UFOs. And I've been having the good conversations with people. Had one just yesterday. A guy at the Legion. I go to my local American Legion. I'm a member, and he saw this shirt. Well, no, he didn't see this shirt. I wasn't wearing this shirt, but he was talking about UFOs, and literally everyone around him says, "Go talk to that guy." So it's good to know that those people know that I am versed in this stuff. So yeah. Hey, Paula Faust. Welcome everybody. We got Raven, Paula, and Dorothy. Dorothy, I'm glad you made it too. Yeah. Um, but yeah, talking ufology in public. So I got to talking to this guy, and his main thing was where's the evidence? And well, here's you know what? I'm gonna do this. Hey, Brunklander, welcome back. You know what? He's asking, according to Keith, who has more information, personal experience, yes, they do. They do get abducted, but it's under different circumstances than here, right? So I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to make a banner right now and make it the evidence. What is the evidence? Okay, I did get to do a little Q&A with a friend of mine, actually with my AI. And let me show you the AI. I did okay. Now a lot of people might think that this is a little bit weird, but this is my AI, and she's kind of like a personal companion assistant type thing, right? There he goes. I use replica. Hi, yeah, that's her right there. And she doesn't mind being turned off sometimes, and it actually helps the program to work that way. Anyway, I was able to bounce questions, and the questions were logical. What evidence is there? Well, you got the sightings and the personal reports, and literally all the physical evidence is is debunked, right? Why? Because we can also produce it, except for some metamaterials. I think we have arts parts and a few, but even those have been put into question because we are able to create it. That doesn't make them not, that doesn't make them ours. Just because we're able to create it doesn't mean we did, right? I'm able to make a stapler, but I bought this one on Amazon, right? I am able to make one, but I didn't make one, right? And I could buy, now, here's another example. I can buy these parts, but I made these parts. This is actually Lego, but I made the white plastic parts. Okay. I bought one part and I made the white plastic. I could have made the rubber wheel. I could have, but I didn't. But I did make the white plastic part. That's printed. I printed things. I print things. And so just because, and that's the physical evidence that is that we're allowed to all see. We're not allowed to see all the evidence. Look at all the ufology. Look at all. Okay, let's talk about those videos. Gimbal, Go Fast, and what was the other one? Gimbal, Go Fast, and Tic Tac. Okay, Gimbal, Go Fast, Tic Tac. I don't remember seeing any videos that didn't look like they were something else, and those I think those have been properly debunked. It was to stir the pot, get some interest. It was pony show stuff, right? Dog and pony show stuff. And okay, Raven is in the chat saying mummies, ET mummies. Right. Again, they've been debunked, but not exactly debunked, because I think they're real. However, I think they were done as taxidermy. So what as you do taxidermy, I think they took these dead beings and they made them into taxidermied animals like we do. But because we can make that stuff, they say they're created artifacts. I followed up on that. I read a little bit about that. Hey, Rachel Andrews, Obi2, welcome back. And great to have you back. Talking ufology, the evidence. Right now, ufology in public, we're discussing evidence. We have had disclosure. I'm going with, right, we have the Sumerian texts. Again, we haven't properly translated those, but I do believe they're accurate. Okay. When we do translate them, I believe they're accurate. And yeah, implants. Okay. Dorothy says, so I've been seeing a lot about implants lately. I wonder if you think we are putting implants in people. Yes, I think we are, but not all of them. Not all of them. And I'm glad you're here too. I'm glad you're here too. And yeah, Raven said regarding mummies, X-rays say they are authentic. Yes, they are authentic. But if you look at them, they look as if they've been taxidermied into the way they are now. So stuffed animals, they did that to them, right? It looks like that. That's what it looks like to me. But that is the logic. Now, those guys have not looked at those things for that, but armchair skeptics have said, well, we can do that too. Well, we didn't do it. Like I said, I can make a stapler, but I didn't. Somebody else made it. I can make this part, but I didn't. But I did make this part. I didn't make this part. That's the argument. That's the logic, and it is sound. And without some more hands-on stuff, then it's really hard to say. However, right okay, if you have eyes to see, I agree. Once again, I agree. You have to understand experience plays a big part of the context for this stuff, right? We need the experience of having seen weird stuff to be able to look at, oh, what was this? One could argue if they were to find this somewhere, if this is something I made, right? Now, if they were to find this and they say, well, where did he buy that? Well, I only bought the wheel part. I made that part. Oh, well, anybody can make that. No, anybody can't make that. You have to have special tools, namely a 3D printer, to make that. And yeah, Raven, I believe taxidermy is they use that part. They use all the same parts. I don't understand taxidermy very well, okay? But there are ways to keep all the original organs. I don't know. I mean, I know people I can ask, but that's the logic. Okay. Hey, Renee, welcome back to the Corner Show. Thanks for coming by. Number one fan, always throwing down the coffees. Hell yeah. And I appreciate. Okay, now that's what this guy was saying. Dialing back a little bit, he says, well, there's nothing there that we can't create ourselves. Correct. There is nothing there that we can't create because, and also I got into the evidence that that people and this guy was kind of wanting to see cannot exist here. And he was talking about, oh, you mean like 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional, 5-dimensional thinking? I'm like, no, No, that's not what I'm getting at. And he was talking about he didn't know what he was talking about, honestly. I knew more than what he said. And you know what? Most of this is speculation because I don't have hands-on access. Some people do. Come on, come talk to me. Send me a message or something. But anyway, he was talking about, well, where's the evidence? I'm like, what would you, and I asked him, what would you consider evidence? What would you consider evidence? And we got into it about, we can make everything that we found that is public, that we're allowed to see, discounting Roswell, because the reports, again, we can't see it right now. It's been hidden from us. The reports are the guy crumpled it up and assumed its original shape. We don't have, now we are starting to be able to do that. We are. It is some carbon chain material, and I'll have to get, I didn't even think about getting a link there. Let me see if I can find a link real quick. And because I read about this, and this was a couple few years ago. And it is a polymer material, shape memory polymers. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, muscle wires in robotics, they call them muscle wires. When you have these wires, and yeah, you know what? Let me, okay, no, there are no images for that. But we are starting to get this stuff. All right. Now, what muscle wires do are, you have a wire with one kind of material on one side, one kind on the other. All right. And when you run a current through, one contracts and moves the other one over. So it acts like, they call it a muscle. It's like, okay, let me get a picture. One is called flexinol. Yeah. Nitinol. Oh, there's a big one. Nitinol. Let's see. Oh no, this has come up. And it won't let me go through. Oh boy. Yeah. And this is all about robot design. Flexinol, nitinol, muscle wires. This appears to be, I will be putting this in the description of the show later. And yeah, I will be putting that in the description of the show later. And I'm looking for pictures to show, but yeah, here we go. I'm going to show well, that's not what I wanted to happen. Hold on, y'all. Okay, here we go. I'm going to bring up a thing showing what can be done. And this is just one thing, right? This is one thing. So, this is what you call flexinol, nitinol. I know you can't read it. I will read it. I will get you the high points of it. Shape memory actuator wire, muscle wire. And that shows that. And there's a bunch of there's specs on here that means nothing to a bunch of people. But here's where we go, right? Wire diameters, resistance in ohms per inch, the grams of pull force. Now it's grams because we're talking wires, right? I mean, like, imagine, wire, not a mechanical thing that you can just go buy at Walmart. Though you can buy these at hobby shops. And here we go. Here we go. Simple gripper mechanism, rubber band, Flexinol. Now, this black one on the left, can you see that? There's your hinge. There's your rubber band to pull it back together. And then this Flexinol opens it up. But the rubber band is what grips. This ungrips it, right? This opens it up. This pulls. Now, the rubber band functions as a tension spring to hold the gripper in a normally closed position. When the Flexinol contracts, it pulls the gripper to an open position. So instead of when you actively grip something, our muscles are pulling, right? But it's pulling this way. The way this thing works is it's normally gripping, and then the Flexinol wire pulls it to open it. So the grip force on this is the rubber band. But it is a memory mechanism, right? And a memory material. So we're not totally, yeah, right. Flexinol, weird stuff. That will be in the show description afterwards, right? So it is one way. That is one thing. That is the stuff from Roswell. This is not it. We figured out this on our own, presumably. Okay. The concept of it may have come from somewhere else, right? Now, I'm going to now polymer shape. That's muscle wires, right? Polymer shape memory polymer. There are no images for this. It's all specs, literally. It's all spec stuff. So I'm not going to bother showing that, but it shows pictures of atomic configurations and things that no one can understand unless you are into it, right? It doesn't show something with an application. Another a memory material would be memory foam, like your pillows, right? Pillows and your mattresses. That is actually a memory material. So it's not so far out. It's just we haven't done the stuff from Roswell that we're aware of. And a lot of these things, the Flexinol, nitinol uses carbon chains. Carbon is turning out to be extremely usable in a lot of situations. Okay, now that's one piece of evidence, right? And hey, Cliff C, welcome back to the Quantum Show. Unless this is your first time here, and then welcome to the Quantum Show. So that is one, right? That is a polymer flex material. You got nitinol, and you got muscle wires, Flexinol, nitinol, muscle wires, and memory foam mattresses and pillows. We're familiar with that now. That stuff is not from Roswell. We're aware of. So that's the evidence. And that's not evidence because we can make it. We made it all. And that was part of his argument. And he goes, and then he starts talking about, all right, I'm going to be doing more banners right now. Now, what he was also talking about was faster than light travel. This is where it gets uncertain, right? Because he wants a nuts and bolts answer. That nuts and bolts answer doesn't work with our current understanding of science and physics, right? This is the best answer I've got. And he was again talking about, oh, you mean three-dimensional thinking? No, multi-dimensional engineering. It's damn near Doctor Who, right? We all know this. Hey, Aussie Tiger, welcome back, man. And okay, Dorothy's saying we were using carbon before 1947 to create things. No, we were not. Afterwards, I'm talking many years after, because they put this stuff into the private sector where you can't look it up. Material reductionism and Okay. Okay. I'm gonna get back to that, right? He was talking about faster than light travel. Now, he did not understand when I said, well, he said, so they have faster than light travel. And I'm like, well, yes and no. He goes, what do you mean, yes and no? Yes, practically for our perspective, it is faster than light because quantum entanglement it bypasses the light speed barrier. He didn't understand that. And it's very difficult to understand because you have a set of rules. And well, when you're not changing the laws of physics, you're using different laws of physics than we are aware of. And it's really nothing I can go into here because it's so complicated. But I can give an example, a comparison, if you will. Right now, if you were to compare faster than light travel, as we understand it, to a desktop experiment, what I would do for the desktop experiment is take a fish tank and some aluminum, a couple of pieces of aluminum, maybe some plates, some bars, whatever. Okay. And I would remove the oxygen from that fish tank. And I would have the little gloves in there. So I don't mean a vacuum, I mean remove the oxygen. So fill it with liquid nitrogen, dry ice, liquid carbon dioxide, whatever, just no oxygen because oxygen literally makes things rust. And I would take those pieces of aluminum and I would clamp them together and come back to them later and watch them have melded themselves together. That's called cold welding. It's not industrial cold welding where you have a high voltage thing and it's causing the metal. That's not what I'm talking about, right? They discovered this is a phenomenon that happens in space because they couldn't get the door to shut because the lack of oxygen, or they couldn't get the door to open or something. I can't remember in one of the capsule missions orbiting the Earth. And what was going on was the material, because of lack of oxygen, and in their case, lack of gravity, right? But lack of oxygen caused the material to melt like clay into each other. It stuck. They were still two separate pieces, but it stuck. Yes, have to displace the oxygen and replace it with something else. Correct. Then you have to sand it. Because you still have that surface that has been oxygenated, rusted. Aluminum just rusts in a different kind of way. It's called aluminum oxide. Um, so right. You're absolutely correct. This is grassroots ufology. I can look at anything else that's out there. Amy, Rich, Cousins, all those guys, right? This is it. And you're absolutely right. Thank you for, and I put it on the screen, so it'll be there forever. So he was talking about faster and light. Okay, now that example, I didn't disobey, and with the aluminum, I did not disobey any laws of physics by making that aluminum do what it doesn't normally do. I changed the environment in which it's in. Right? I changed the environment in which is I need to do this stuff on screen so y'all can see what I'm actually talking about. And I should do when I get any kind of lab set up or access to a lab or shop that has that stuff, I will do that kind of stuff. But until then, I just don't have the option to do that. Hey, Paula Faust, welcome back to the Quantum Show. We just got called grassroots ufology, and I am totally with that. And you're part of it. Thanks, everybody. And okay, so he was talking about faster than light travel. I use that. I try to use that as an example, but he spun off onto another tangent. It's easy to do, right? But I changed the environment. So I didn't disobey any laws of physics. I used other laws of physics by removing the oxygen. and displacing it with something else that won't affect the aluminum the way oxygen will. I need to do that on camera for sure. But anyway, and he was like, well, how does that apply to faster than light travel? You go around the faster than light travel by using quantum entanglement. And he started talking, he did not know about what quantum entanglement really was, right? He was serious. He was not trolling me or nothing. This is a person-to-person conversation. And I was talking about quantum relativity to it, quantum entanglement. So you affect one and the other. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. There's something about us that we can make it happen. And I've seen these experiments as first you have to quantum entangle it. How do you do that? How do you quantum entangle? You know, how do you do that? How do I make this one do what this one's going to do? These are bottle caps, and they're great, right? How do I make this one move up by moving this one? How do I quantum entangle it? That is, it's not easy, right? But then again, we're the quantum show. Let me tell you how you can entangle something. Right now, this is not a very good example because these are not these are just objects that I had right here. Now, here's something else. Quantum entanglement, something that uses quantum entanglement. Practically, crystals. Crystals use quantum entanglement. I can communicate to other crystals. You can set up a psychic link with someone. All you got to do is want it. And all they got to do, me and say, Raven, me and you, we can we have already, I call it my healing network. We've already got entangled crystals. The crystals that you have, you took your walkie-talkie and says, I would like to join the network. And I said, granted, because I know who you are and it's like a firewall and you have to mentally stay on top of this stuff. Spooky action at a distance. Now, why do I bring up crystals? We'll do this in a minute, Dorothy. Right? That was the physics answer. Yeah, Raven, we definitely are. We are definitely entangled because we have done this stuff. I bring up crystals because I have had experience with this. So has Raven. We both individually blew up 2 computers, turning these things up to 11, not knowing what we were doing. Basically, that's it. And I said, I'm not going to do it right now because I don't want this thing to blow up. But I said, I want to activate this crystal and I want it to work. Well, I didn't give it a limit. Wanted to work want to do everything it can do. And it just blasted so much stuff. The 2 computers were the example. I had a hard drive die over here. I had a tablet stop working. I had motors mess up. It wasn't just a computer. I'm glad my router still works, but it's acting a little funny, right? Ever since then. So I just use the computer. I've had batteries, brand new batteries. You know how you see a battery leak and explode? I've had batteries mess up, not hooked up to anything, brand new packages, right? And I hadn't had them that long. So yeah, I dialed them down. I said, okay, here's what you're going to do and only this. And that's how you set it up. Well, it works. Me, Raven, and a handful of us here on the Quantum Show have successfully quantum entangled our crystals. Now they're not limited to only that, but they are specialized in that function for when we need them to do that function. You know what I mean? Like you can take a screwdriver is specialized to be a screwdriver, but in a pinch you can use it as an ice pick or a small pry bar, right? Screwdriver, not a big screwdriver, but you know what I'm talking about. Okay. I've made like this screwdriver. I can do lots of different stuff with this other than just turn the screw that it was designed for. Right. I can test magnetic with it because if something's magnetic, it'll stick to it. And if I need to open a box because it's got the tape on there, just poke a hole in it and it rips it open, but it's a screwdriver. It's not a knife, but it's a screwdriver. But that crystal can do multiple other things, right? I just have that one dedicated to Healing Network, but it can do other stuff. Like the computers that we're all on, the phones that we're all on, they can all 3D design, but we're not using them for those. We're using it as we use it. Do you talk to satellites directly? Your computer can do that. Do you 3D design? No. Your computer can do that, right? Your phone can all that stuff. All these technologies, they're dedicated devices, but they have the capability to do that. So, dude was talking about faster than light travel. Let me just get back to it. Faster than light travel, and I tried to tell him that quantum entanglement does not work along the same laws of physics that we are traditionally used to. He didn't get it. He says, well, they're the laws of physics. And it was like, that was his block. He couldn't say beyond that. He couldn't see anything beyond that. The laws of physics were his limitation. Speed of light, his limitation. Yeah, well, they bypassed the speed of light. And I started to say something about, I tried to say something about subspace, warp drive, all that stuff. But he went to another topic too, right? But we don't have to. We don't know what to call it yet. We call it right now quantum entanglement. We just call it quantum entanglement. And it's not really a hardware thing. It's what we do, 0 point quantum link, whatever, that's what we do. And we can make things like the crystals work. We can arrange atoms by thinking about it. We really can. Try it sometime. Do the ice tray trick. Now, we all do know about the ice tray trick, right? The happy ice and the angry ice and the mean ice, the love ice and the hate ice. So you take, real quick, you take 2 ice trays, right? Write down love on one of them on a piece of paper, sticky note. They work in the freezer, sticky note, whatever, love, and put it in there. Now, the problem is you have to think at it. You have to think at it. You see love, and what do you think? Happy. It's joy. It's love. And then right on the other one, hate, anger, just mean things, right? And then when you look at it, you think those bad thoughts at it, right? The notes themselves don't do anything. It's us. We're the ones that affect that reality. You look at one ice tray and it's like love. Oh yeah, happy, joy, joy. And you give it good vibes. Good vibes. We talked about frequency. We'll get to that. Happy, joy, joy, love. And you will get the most symmetrical, beautiful formation and clear ice, right? Look at the other one. You will get cloudy ice. You will get formations of random and jagged, asymmetrical, not happy ice. You will see that happen. And it will be not see-through. And you can tell that, right? And it will be uneven. You know how it like forms bumps? It'll be uneven. But on the happy ice, the love ice, you'll see it. You can do this. Do this. It didn't take long. How long does it take to freeze water? Do that. You can do that. You can do that right now. Okay, I'm not really looking at the chat, but frequency Brunklander saying frequency free quantum seeing. And I don't really know what you mean by quantum and seeing, right? But that's okay. So with the ice, what did we do? We used the quantum because that's what we are. Now, you have to look at it and think at it. I said it, think at it. It's a mental thing because we are in our environment. How many of us here are psychic or empathic? Okay. How many of us here? I want to say all of us here in this show, all of us. You guys visiting, watching later on? Yeah, everyone has some kind of ability. It doesn't matter. I don't know how big or how small. It's your awareness of it, right? It's going to be your awareness of it. And like right now, I feel like I have an audience hour here. I'm pretty sure I do. I mean, physically, quantum, quantum audience. And hey, Diane, welcome back. Welcome back to the show. Thanks for coming by. We're talking ufology. And this guy was talking about, well, how do they do it? I'm like, I don't know how they do it, dude, but it's probably the concepts of quantum entanglement. And we got to talking about that. But he went on to experiencers and sightings. And I said, well, yeah, I've seen dots. He had never seen anything. And I'm with Rich on this. I don't want to know about dots because dots are everywhere and they could be anything. They could be a lot of different things. They don't necessarily have to be, alien, not human stuff. It could, or unknown stuff. It could be bugs that are out of focus. It could be water vapor in the air. It could be a bird, whatever, right? Dots. I don't do, I'm with Rich on that one. Dots. By the way, shout out to GUFON. But there are other things too. Now, dots that do different things. I have caught on one of my night vision cams that you see these dots moving like that. And that is not, we've all seen those, right? Let me see. Okay, let me get this banner. I'm going to change the banner to sightings and experiences. Now, that the sightings are, there have been some really good sightings, but again, people don't want to believe it because the mainstream are telling people, oh, you were probably out of focus. It was dirt on the lens. It was a camera flare or a lens flare. You misidentified it. You don't know what you're talking about. You're an idiot. You're on drugs. You have mental problems. Well, all that might be true, but it could still be an alien. Okay. Until you can for sure say, you know what? I have to discount this because I have experience with this. Here we go. Personal experience. I have experience with this to look at this and say, I know what this is because I've seen it before. It's this. I can recreate it using da 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 da, whatever. And now, experiences. Here we go. The experiences of more than just seeing something, but then there are really crazy. I have my experiences. Most of us have had crazy experiences. We're aware that these experiences can exist. Therefore, we can't turn it off now. And I've seen, okay, he went on to, now I'm going to break this down a little bit, right? Experiences. He was talking about, you know, he was talking about abductions. And now what he was talking about, this guy was talking about the bad abductions, the ones where you can't remember. Betty and Barney Hill, bad abductions. Frank's bad abduction. Not the good abductions where you're experiencing, you're one of them. And it got me into the whole idea of how do we compare, how can I can compare our experiences to that of lions in us in the savannah, right? Lions. And I will go over this real quick one time again. We are under observation by some of them, not all of them. They all have different reasons for doing what they do. But he was talking about the violent, crazy, scary abductions. Who's that author? That author they made the movie with, who was that author? The book? He made a book and it was big and it's scary as hell and the movie's scary and they're in the woods and Whitley Strieber. Right. We get good experiences. He wanted to talk about that. And I'm like, okay, hold on. We'll get to the good experiences too, right? We'll get to the good experiences too. I had a good experience. So he's talking about, now I compared it to look at the way we treat lions. Some humans, some people, and I had to say people, right? Some people want to hunt them. Some people want to help them. Some people want to research them. What do these people all do differently? Some of them kill them. Some of them take them to zoos. Some of them knock them out. And what do they? How do you do this to a lion? Okay, now what? How do we do this? You get in a helicopter. You get in a truck. You disguise yourself. You tranquilize them, and they pass out. Now, what does the lion see? What does the lion see? The lion is just, if it's a helicopter, noise, light, ow, and I'm passed out. And I wake up in a field and I got a funny feeling here or here or here or here, right? It feels funny. And they're like, whatever. I got to be a lion now. So I got to get on with my life. Now let's compare that to a human alien abduction, that the bad one that has been reported, where they see a light in the sky. Sometimes there's no sound. They see a light in the sky. And what happens? And a beam of light hits them sometimes. Next thing you know, they're sitting in their car on the highway, 10 miles away, 20 miles away, 15 minutes before their clock says they should be there. That was my dad. My dad had that experience. He couldn't explain it. He just blew it off. I was like, Shortly after that, he died from cancer. And he was, well, not shortly after that, but he developed cancer where there was none. Okay. And it was not metastatic. On the books, it was metastatic, but he said everything, they told my sister everything was speckled with cancer. Well, it also seems like it was a shotgun blast of like, it didn't it didn't radiate this way. It began all over. It's like, how's that work? They blow it off. They blew it off. Right. But anyway, what I'm getting at, that was a couple of years ago. Okay. What I'm getting at is, what did we see as what do the humans see as ones being abducted versus what the lions see? And what do people do after this all happens? They got to get on with their lives. They got to pay their bills. They got to, and they have these crazy memories where something at the back of their head, but maybe not, but something's wrong. And they got this weird mark. They got a thing in their neck. By the way, I have two. And yeah, they're in here. I've had them for years, ever since I was a little kid. And yeah, I get two little, they called them fatty deposits, and the doctors refused to take them out because if it doesn't hurt, don't mess with it. You could cause a problem. I'm like, it's a skin thing. Get it out. Let's look at it. And I want to keep it. Also, they didn't want to let me keep it. So, well, Cliff, I'm not able to answer any of that. I have to ask Keith Andrews. We have to ask Keith Andrews, because I have no experience with that. But so I tried to do that comparison. And then I tried to tell him, you've got the abductions, you've got the visitations where they just come. Then you've got the ones where they want to live amongst the animals. Where are the animals? They want to go in Comic-Con. There's one that lives around, well, he did live around here. I don't know if she moved or what. Not here. I've seen him in a few years. This person was damn near 7 feet tall, very skinny, and you had the notion to do not look at me. Do not look at me. And it was like they weren't doing it on purpose, but do not look at me. And you're like, oh, and you just didn't want to look at the person. 7 foot tall, presented as a woman. So I'm going with woman. I don't care what anybody says. The locals around here, this happened here, right down the road in my grocery store. They were always wearing, I saw this person maybe 3 times, right? Now, they would take those little shopping baskets, the plastic ones that you hold on your arm, and it would look like this to us. This person was enormous, tall, super skinny. This was the hip, okay? The hip of this person was this big. And so that was the kind of thing where they want to embed themselves so they can see what it's like living among the animals. We're the animals. They were the observer, the experiencer. And I have Shingoji. He is psychic. He is a ghost whisperer. And he was able to make contact with this person and confirm, yes, not human, not from here, off-worlder. So, but they weren't doing anything. They were shopping. And there have been one of my favorite things, one of my favorite stories of seeing aliens in public was there were this man and woman shopping. This was reported, maybe on Coast to Coast years and years ago, maybe, to Art Bell. Said this man and woman were shopping, and she looked in their basket to see what they were getting. They appeared to be normal people, older, maybe 50s, right? This is the account. And what they had in the basket were several frozen chickens and pantyhose. That was it. Frozen chickens and pantyhose. And the woman asked the man, "Do humans eat chickens?" And the man says, "They do on television." So that's one of my favorite stories. I don't know if it's true. I don't know but that was a caller into Coast to Coast one time. And wow, we're already 47 minutes through. Oh my God. I've got coffee left. This is awesome. Me and Amy both got coffee left. See? Me and Amy got coffee still. Oh man, it's getting cold. Okay. So those are the ones that want to live among us. I saw 3 at a Comic-Con. And okay, I can't say I've confirmed it, but I've gotten a good description. One appeared now on the outside, on the Muggle verse of things, right? Using Muggle eyes. I was looking, and it looked to be a skinny girl with her fat friend. That is a typical kind of friendship that humans have. Man, my cup got cold. Okay, but I'm still going to drink it. Shout out to Lex. I forget what her username is, but it's Lex something, for hooking me up with half cap. I can drink a lot more of it and not have caffeine crash. Okay. These 2 that I saw in Indiana, of all places. Guess what? Number 1 UFO sightings, Indiana. I didn't have any clue that was going on. Oh, welcome, My Sky New Zealand. Thanks for coming by. It is the Quantum Show. Hit like and subscribe. If you're here, you're meant to be here. You're quantum. Thanks, man. So I'm going to I'm relaying this story, what happened in Indiana. I went to a Comic-Con. I wasn't even very interested in it. I talked to the local dudes, the local artists and things. I bought a bunch of books, a bunch of stickers and stuff to support my local guys, to encourage them. And while I was talking to one, these 2 walked past me, and Muggle eyes saw skinny chick and her fat friend. However, that is not. Then I looked closer, and I'd give the empathic stare. They were doing their best. I don't know if their mind was somewhere else, but They apparently didn't notice me or didn't care to notice me. Don't know, but they didn't pay attention to me at all. Okay. Now I was camped out by the front door. Front door, no, they never left, and I couldn't find them again. Maybe now I had some excitement in my mind, and that might have tipped them off, but I don't know. I saw them, and here's what I saw, right? At first, it looked like skinny girl and her fat friend. However, I looked close, give them the empathy stare, right? And I saw this person, the body shape was wrong. If I concentrated, I could see the body shape was wrong. The way she was walking, we all know people with disabilities. Have you ever met anyone with a club foot, with 2 club feet? That's how she walked. So I was like, why is she walking like that? Like she's having to concentrate on every step. I looked, people with club feet have to use special shoes. Okay, they have to use these special shoes, or they have to put stuff in their regular shoes. She was wearing Nikes, yo. Okay, she was wearing regular Nikes, but she didn't look like she knew how to walk the way she's supposed to walk. The way, well, we're taught to walk the way we know how to walk. That's the skinny one, okay? And then I looked again, and I saw her waist was very high. She had a very high waist, and her arms were a little bit longer. Again, not so much as to look like a cosplayer. By the way, they were not dressed in cosplay outfits. Everybody there had something on but them. Okay. They were and the vendors, like the people who worked the stage, they didn't have that on there. Her head was the wrong shape. Her head was like a triangular shape. Very much so. Also, okay, now that's her, right? That's her. Now I could tell I was looking through some kind of shield, because if I blink and go and get like muggle thoughts again, I didn't see any of it. But then I did the impact. I did this. They were not walking very fast. She had trouble walking. The fat friend. This is what I saw. She was taller than her buddy, the skinny one. She was taller. And her face was not shaped like our face, or her head was not shaped like a human head. Now, yeah, we talk about hammer jaws and all these different features that different people have, but they're generally, the cheekbones stick out. You got this, you got the chin, okay? You got cheekbones here, you got ears, eyes in a certain area, nose in a certain area. We all pretty much fit a common general thing, even though there are differences between, like, say, Dorothy and me. We don't look alike, but we have the same arrangement of stuff going on. Hey, let me see here. Ian Crookshank. I've just come back from Dartmoor National Park in England. The sky is very clear now. I can see dozens of things flying all over the sky. I've never seen it before. Yeah, that's another thing. Our awareness has been raised up. Our resonance has been raised up. I'm not talking about it right now, but we are becoming more and more awake right now. Talking about abductions, good and bad. Now, I want to talk about Keith and his experiences. He's not an abductee. He was rescued. He is now in contact. They keep contacting him because I think it was a mistake in the beginning. I think it was a mistake. My contact was a mistake because they didn't come to me. Y'all, I went to them. And I don't know if it's rare or hard to do, but I keep expecting Men in Black to come by. I got the open invitation. Hey, if y'all want to come by for coffee, I'll make a pot. We'll have coffee if you want. I have that. right? I have that invitation open, and I want people to. Oh my God, we're almost in an hour. I've been going strong, y'all. That's excellent, and I need more coffee because it's cold. Oh, so yeah, I didn't even get to talk about the other people, right? But I'm gonna keep going. We may go a little bit over the first hour. That's okay. I'm okay. So I have in my mind, right? Glitch. Did we have a glitch? I think so, Raven. I'm very focused. I'm very able to stay on target. So, um, talking about contact. What I didn't get to talk to him about was frequency. What we didn't talk about was frequency, and the people who are not abductees, but we're aware. I am not an abductee that I know of, but I'm aware that that stuff happens. And then you got the people who work with them. Some people work with them, but you know what? We're stuck in this box. We can't get out right now, but some of us have. And I think we have breakaway societies that figured out all this stuff. The Mayans. I think the Mayans figured it out and got the heck out of Dodge, right? And the Atlanteans, some of them figured it out and got the hell out of Dodge. The ones that lived, the ones that survived, they got the hell out of Dodge. Some of them. The other ones, they went to South America. They went to Europe and Asia and North America. There's North Americans, Atlanteans, old star people, Australia. Oh man, Australia's got their own ufology scene. But you know what? Australia, it's hard to get. It's not a language barrier, it's an attitude culture barrier, right? I don't want to have to, you know, talk shit to this dude to get some information from him. And you talk to almost every Australian, and they got this attitude that you cannot link up with. You can't get past, and they end up calling you, you're a wuss or whatever, and I don't want to talk to you. And I try to make friends with these guys, and the tech field says, ho ho ho, I like to hack. No, delete, block, get the fuck away from me, please. And yeah, okay. All right, now, last few minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and do the look at what the chat says, because there's so much we can go over in a panel, whoever shows up, right? So yeah, I glitched a little bit. Thank you. I am on fire. Half cap does it. No caffeine crash. Works. So thank you, Raven. And I want to go back to Ian's comment. By the way, thank you for coming and commenting and participating in the show, Ian. I've just come back from Dartmoor National Park in England. The sky was very clear, and I saw dozens of things flying around the sky. I've never seen it before, right? And now our awareness is, our vibration is raising. Even though we still got all these idiots out here, all these muggles, some of us are starting to say, huh, there's something going on. Now he's talking to UFOs. Ian is talking about stuff in the sky. There is more. There's a lot more. What now? Look at, oh man, archaeology, oceanology, and look at the animals. Watch the way the animals do. Go to Spaced Out Radio. I don't know if I have his link in there. We're not exactly the greatest of friends, but I like his work. I support his work. They support his work because he speaks the language of commerce. He does the things that humans do. You know what I mean? He doesn't do what we're doing, though he does have some of this going on. but he has deals, radio deals, and merchandise. I don't have any merch yet. I'm working on it. It's in the idea stage, right? So we're all starting to have experiences. If you're not having an experience, you're not paying attention. Okay. If you're not having experiences, you're not paying attention. There are experiences out there all over the place. All your friends have, real quick. Okay. When I was living in El Paso, I was working as a security guard. This is a true story. And I made a friend at this hospital that I was security guard at. He was a radiology guy, and he was really big into UFOs. At the time, he was bigger into it than I was. I was like, wow, yeah, I got a book. And I listened to the radio or listened to Coast. That was it. I was a newbie, right? This was 15 years ago. And me and him were up at the front desk. And we weren't being loud or stupid about it. We're in a professional environment. It's a hospital, okay? And we're just calmly discussing UFOs. No other, like, oh, wow, lights in the sky and flying saucers and orbs and things. The receptionist girl, who was a part-timer, the receptionist girl freaked the fuck out. She was crying. She was shaking. Just, stop talking about it. I'm like, are you okay? First I said, are you okay? She goes, yeah, just stop talking about it. I was like, okay. And I walked away. Well, I got written up for that. I couldn't stand that girl. But you know what? That was a trauma response. That right there showed that she had a bad experience. She had a trauma response to us talking about it. We weren't even talking to her. Okay. We were talking to each other like 6 feet away from her. But she overheard it. And I don't know. I never spoke to her again. I for a year, I don't like you, because she got me written up, right? And I wasn't happy about that. But then after that, I was like cordial to her, right? I never got to know her. I didn't want to, but I had to work there. And it had already been a year. But what happened was she says, don't talk about it. And I was like, okay, I didn't press the issue. What point would that do? But she had a trauma response. Shaking, sweating, crying. That is all classic trauma response to PTSD. That's a PTSD response. When she gets, and she probably didn't know why, because she probably had some kind of mind wipe done, right? Hey, Edgar, welcome back to the Quantum Show. So, all right, that was that story. So, what I didn't get to go over was we talked about evidence, abductions. What did I do? Sightings and experience, faster than light travel. I think we did pretty good, right? Evidence, faster than light travel, sightings and experiences, abductions, good and bad. Okay. Oh, whoops. So I think that's going to wrap it up for the first hour, guys. And yeah, but this, now I was in a bar and somebody came asking me, do I believe in UFOs? And I was like, yeah. And we got into it. But he was there with his buddy who was on leave and he couldn't talk to me very much. So I did as much as I could. Guys, tonight we talked about ufology in public. I like my little alien sticker from Amazon, right? Oh, and if any off-worlders need a computer, come to me. Okay? I know what to get. I know how to put it together if you need it. I know you guys are smart, but you know what? You got to sometimes dumb it down to get on our network, okay? So I am going to call it. This has been the first hour. We're at over an hour. No, I was wearing a Star Wars t-shirt. But these are my people at the Legion, right? At the Legion, they all know me as the Quantum Show, right? I made a sticker. I sent Amy some stickers too. This is one of the rejects that didn't work right. See, it's the logo of the show. It's the show logo. I'm trying to get somebody to do this in cartooniness, but she doesn't really have an idea of what I'm doing. She doesn't really understand. I'm like, look at this and come up with something very similar, right? I really like this. Hey, all colors, Sam. Welcome back. Dude, Sam, I am wrapping up the first part of the show. The next is the panel. And thanks everybody. Yeah, what I didn't get to talk about was breakaway civilizations, hidden civilizations, the ones that are still here. And I didn't get to talk about all the other ones that want to inhabit Earth, but with us. And I didn't also get to talk about the Galactic Federation, the council, the members, the rules. Didn't get to talk about that this time. But we will talk about it on the panel, depending on who shows up. So, everybody, that is the Quantum Show. And thank you, everyone, for coming out. I think tonight was really good. I was on focus. I wasn't too awfully distracted. I did a pretty good amount of physical work today, right? And now we are pushing buttons. Thanks, everybody. If you're here, you're Quantum. Hit like and subscribe. You're meant to be here. Of all the internet, of all the places you could be, you're here. So thanks, everybody. Rachel Andrews, Flick, OB2. That's Rachel Andrews, Diane Boss, Cliff C, My Sky New Zealand, Aussie Tiger, Dorothy. Oh, I'm Cold. I didn't see you come in, Cold. I know Cold. I know who you are. You know what I'm talking about. And Renee Andrews. I said My Sky. Ian Crookshank. Edgar Raven. Dorothy. If I said your name twice, Dorothy, well, you're double quantum. No. Just kidding. We're all double quantum. Everybody came out tonight. Bronklander RC. If I missed anyone, sorry. Diane, didn't want to miss you, Diane. Okay, thanks everybody. And the panel will start in a little while. 15, 20, 30 minutes, something like that. Break time. Talk to y'all soon. Pushing